Hey all, thank you for joining me today. In this video, we're making a dummy 13 by Sousaphone, scaled at a whopping 750% scale. Now I've done videos on this before, but I want to push the limits and see how big I can print it. This used a whopping 1,806 grams of PLA and 1,419 grams of PET-G. Wow. In terms of print settings, they're up on the screen here. Just pause it, have a look. But it was at 0.2mm layer height, 10% infill, and I'll let you pause it to see the rest. In terms of print times, took a whopping 3 days, 10 hours and 53 minutes. And as you can see, for scale, the handle alone is as big as a normal dummy 13 model. And when I say normal, I printed that model at 150% scale. So yeah, you are in for a treat. Now, the random colors you're going to see in terms of the armor pieces is I wanted to use all the filament I had left spare. So for all these bits, I've got 10 grams here, 100 grams here, put it all together and just build. In terms of frame support and removing the actual support, this was fairly simple. I did use support and it's just literally picking them off and getting them in place. It's not too difficult, but I will leave you now with the rest of the video and I will catch up with you in a moment. Now, the one thing I didn't realize when printing so large is the amount of detail you see in these joints. When I'm printing it at the normal size of 150% scale, which I normally do it, you don't notice the little grooves and bumps and bends, and like Sousaphone did an amazing job in designing this. But yeah, there's things I just didn't notice, like these little divots in each joint where it hooks onto the armor pieces. When it's such at a small scale, you don't notice it and the pieces fit quite tightly. But at such a large scale, everything is exacerbated. So you see every divot, every bend, every turn. And yeah, it was a pleasure. But removing the support pieces took forever. This video is sped up like 16 times at certain points. This was almost just about an hour just removing all these supports. It got pretty tiresome, got something watching in the background, but yeah, removing all these supports was not the funnest of things. But yeah, I enjoyed this build. Like I said, I've used tons of things to print with, and I thought all these spare bits of filament, what can I do with them? Some of them are so small, they're minute. Some of them are fairly got a bit left. But yeah, I thought, let me put it all together and just make a model. And for size comparison, look at the fists, different. The size of this fist is almost the size of my fist. In fact, this is the size of my child's hand, well, one of my child's hands. You'll see him at the end for the glamour shots, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, even at the fist itself, I didn't realize there was like these grooves or gaps. I thought the fist could actually move, but I think it's just there for a bit of movement. So when you do put items in, it's got a bit of flex so it doesn't crack the hand open, which is pretty clever in fact. As you'll see in a moment, obviously the dummy 13 comes with tons of accessories. You can see them all on fangs, printables and all those things. But I thought, let me keep it simple, and I printed a knife from the weapons pack. So this is quite a large knife. It fits perfectly in the hand. There was no issues. It fits in my hand like a normal knife. And yeah, this is something that you'll see near the end. Now, as you can see, there is a rainbow of colors here. I wasn't too sure how I want to print it. So in terms of orientation of printing, I left the orientation as the same way it would be if I printed at a normal size. Obviously, I had to separate the pieces and put them on different plates. But in terms of printing it, so if you go into printables and download Suzavo's file or MakerWorld or whatever you're using, the orientation, I left it there. I didn't want to change it. Obviously, I could have moved some of the pieces other ways, so there wasn't so much support being used. But I know it prints flawlessly at this orientation. Everything comes out fine, so I thought, let me leave it to it. This rainbow fire, I really love the way this color came out. Some pieces, obviously all one color, like these shoulder pieces here and this fire here, because that's what the filament used until they got up to that point. And then you can see some gradients and transitions where the colors mixed. I wish I did plan out the order I printed things in, so I would have had a more consistent color all over the model, but hey, that was for past me to think about. Now, removing the armor supports are just like removing the frame supports. So you just pop them off and there you go. It's not too difficult. But yeah, like I said, the colors using this, I was thinking about adding some colors, but I did want to add like some maybe silk PLA and stuff like that, but I didn't want to change the structure and to make it more fragile, because I did have some spare silk filament left over. But yeah, like I said, the structure of silk PLA versus normal PLA or PLA plus, PETG, all of those other things, it just wasn't worth printing something which would have been so fragile at the end. I chose to use 10% infill as well, because yeah, this is a lot of filament and the weight of it alone would have been astronomical, so I thought I'll put it down to 10%. And to be honest, most of the time 10% is what you need in most models. I was considering doing it at 5%, but I want to keep some rigidity. I was even considering to do it at 50% and using most of my spare filament, but I thought, yeah, that would have been too dense and I have no idea how that would have turned out. But yeah, like I said, I want to say a massive thank you to every single one of you for tuning in. You especially for liking, comment, watching this video. Everything you do goes towards making this channel successful. And like I said in the last video, just recently hit 5,000 subscribers, getting close to 100 million. I know it sounds crazy, 10 million, 1 million, it all sounds the same, but fundamentally I'm gonna get there, and it's all because of you guys, and thank you so much. Check the links in the description and on my bio and all those wonderful things. If you want to see my Etsy store where you can download my models, you can sign up to the membership on my Patreon, sign up to my YouTube membership. You know, nice thanks will go well. It helps anything you do to help this community and help me, helps me create more models, create more exciting things, and it does so much for this channel. I know I've had a lot of sponsors, which I'm really surprised that they're really open to help support this channel, and it's because of you guys watching and tuning in, which really makes a difference. Now, if we get onto the assembly, I'll be honest, this was a nightmare. I'm so used to putting this together at a smaller scale. You know, my strength compared to a smaller scale is easy, but fitting this joints together took forever. I'm using literally all my weight on top of this to squeeze it, and I'm pushing and pushing and pushing. Luckily, finally, it goes together and snaps in, but this was the easiest part of all of it. Honestly, it gets harder going further on. This is the hip joint. Actually, you can follow this video for instructions on how it's put together, but honestly, watching the normal size version that I printed previously, I'll put a link in the description or put a card up here so you can click it. That's a better way to follow instructions. This is so mismatched, and obviously you're not gonna go through the same issues putting this together as you would the normal size version. Like even fitting this hip bit, I try to twist it now to make it a bit loose, because one thing about PETG is once you put it in place, its friction is really tight, like it's really hard to move, so I'm just wiggling it about just to get a bit more wiggle room and movement. This is the top bit of the waist, as you may have seen in previous videos. All the PLA bits went in really smooth. There was no issues connecting the PLA bits, but the PETG to PETG was an absolute nightmare. Like this moving smoothly than it was to put in the normal model. As you can see here, I managed to force it together. Actually saying this was the easiest bit. Now, in a moment, I am about to try and put in this top torso. This took about half an hour. I've cut out bits because I was literally climbing the table. So I got the heat gun out, and this is the friend of the video, the heat gun. Honestly, using a heat gun made this possible. If I never had the heat gun or some sort of heat source, I don't think this would have been possible at all, without snapping or breaking something. So I'm gently heating it. Don't want to overheat it, Preference, I do mess up a little bit. I do overheat the ball and it dents it, but I do learn throughout this video and later on how to do it a bit more gently and a bit more easily. And the best thing is I heated it around the outside, so I'm heating it inside now thinking that it will stretch, but if I heat it around the outside and where the sort of curvature of where the joint is, it stretches out a way that has to go back together, because doing the inside just makes the inside soft. So if you do the outside, it stretches and you can sort of push it together gently just to push it back into place, so it still keeps that tightness and that rigidity without being too loose. Same thing with the neck. This bit is easy to go in, and I knew that the way that was fitting in, all the other joints from now on were just going to be a nightmare. So I do try my luck and think, yep, you know, I'm strong enough to push it in. But as you will see in a few seconds time, that just wasn't the case. The heat gun needed to be used, and now I've learned my lesson. Do the outside, and from this point onwards I'm just going to use the heat gun at all joints just to squeeze them in. But I'll leave you the rest of the video and I'll catch up with you in a moment. Now, as always, the heat gun worked amazingly. This is my best friend in this video. But the one thing I didn't realize, and I know I scaled up to 750%, but I didn't realize how big this was going to be. This is literally the same size as my 4-year-old. It's crazy, and it weighs a ton. Like, I know I've made a scaled up model, but yeah, I just really didn't think about how big it was going to be. And one of the things that people may not know is that I really don't like dolls, and I've got a proper phobia when it comes to like porcelain dolls and those sort of real lifelike dolls. They scare the heck out of me. Trying to watch Megan 3 or Megan 3, whatever it's called, yeah, I was like shaking and dribbling. Obviously not literally, but yeah, it sent a chill up my spine. I don't mind action figures, I've got tons of those and other toys, but yeah, real lifelike dolls scare the bejeebus out of me. I was sort of two minds of how I was going to put the 5 pieces on, because I was going to keep the color match, and I thought, yeah, stick with it rather than the opposite scale. Arm pieces was the same deal. It wasn't much more difficult. It was a nightmare putting together, but with the heat gun, it made an absolute difference. And please, can you share, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Please check me out on Instagram and TikTok. I am at Mr. Campbell Prince on all of them. And also let me know in the comments if you want to see a bigger version of this model. I am curious to see if I can scale up even bigger. But with that being said and done, I will let you watch the rest of this video. now with everything coming together, this is looking amazing. I was considering about painting it, but I thought, no, let me leave it all natural and use the matte colours that I chose. But yeah, this was a really fun but a bit tiresome build. But yeah, it is looking absolutely amazing. I cannot complain with the end result. But thank you so much for sticking around, and it means the world to me. Please like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And as always, let's watch the glamour shots / animations. Let's go!
Brothers and sisters, what's happened to us? Who's this man? Why are we here? What is he doing? I can't move. What's he doing? He's just staring at us, filming us. I can't move. He's putting me in positions I've got no control. Why is he just spinning around me? Why? What is happening? I feel weak. Why is he coming here? Why is he getting closer? He's pulling us away. He's just throwing us away. Why? We mean nothing to him. Just toys to put away. No, leave him alone. Let go. Let me alone. I'm coming back for you. Just you wait and see. You're awake. About time. You have played with us long enough. Now it's our time to play.